Hey everyone, welcome back to English Podcast Journey. I'm Emma, your host, and today's episode is a little different, but really important. We're stepping outside the language learning box for a moment to talk about something that affects every part of life, your mindset.
And I'm Jack, your co-host. Whether you're working on your English goals or just trying to live a better life, the way you think shapes everything. And today we're going to talk about one of the most powerful tools we have under positive thinking.
You've probably heard the phrase before, but what does it really mean to think positively? Is it just pretending everything's fine or ignoring problems? Not at all. Positive thinking is about training your brain to look for solutions, to stay hopeful, and to focus on growth even when things feel hard.
And yeah, that's something I've had to work on in my own life, because it's not natural for everyone. It takes time and practice. But once you start making the shift, you'll notice it changes how you feel, how you react to stress, and even how you speak to yourself and others.
In this episode, we're going to explore how your thoughts affect your emotions and actions, why positivity isn't just feel-good fluff, and how to build a more empowering mindset starting today.
We've also got 10 key points that'll help you apply this in real life. So whether you're listening while walking, working, or relaxing, this episode is here to inspire and support you. Let's get into it and start building the kind of mindset that helps you grow in English, in life, in everything.
Let's start with something simple but powerful. Your thoughts create your reality. That means what you focus on day after day becomes the world you live in, not just emotionally, but in your actions too.
Yeah, it sounds like a big statement, but think about it. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, or I always mess things up, your brain starts to believe it. You stop trying, you expect the worst, and eventually those thoughts turn into your habits.
But the good news is the opposite is also true. When you start shifting your thoughts toward, I can improve, or this is hard, but I'll figure it out, your brain responds. You start seeing opportunities instead of problems. You try again. You grow.
And it's not about ignoring reality or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing the thoughts that help you move forward, instead of the ones that hold you back. That shift is where real change begins.
If your thoughts are the seeds, your actions are the fruit. Negative thoughts plant doubt and fear. Positive thoughts plant hope and momentum. So the first step is just becoming aware of the voice in your head. What's it saying every day? Is it lifting you up or dragging you down?
I like to remind myself that my brain listens to everything I say to myself. So if I wouldn't say it to a friend, I try not to say it to me either. You deserve kindness from your own mind too.
Try this today. Just pause once or twice and notice what your thoughts are saying. Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? That awareness is the first door to real power.
So once you start paying attention to your thoughts, you'll probably notice something interesting. Most of us have this little inner voice that's constantly running, and sometimes it's not very kind.
Yeah, it's that voice that says you're too slow, or you'll never figure this out, or who do you think you are to even try? And the thing is, it often sounds so automatic, like it's just part of who you are. But it's not. It's just a pattern you've repeated over time.
I used to think that voice was just being realistic. Like if I wasn't hard on myself, I'd never improve. But honestly, the more I listened to it, the more stuck I felt. It didn't push me forward. It made me scared to even start.
Exactly. That inner critic might sound like it's helping, but it often just creates fear and hesitation. What you need instead is an inner coach, someone inside your mind who says, you've got this. It's okay to make mistakes. Keep going.
That's the shift. From critic to coach. It doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything's easy. It means choosing to speak to yourself with honesty and encouragement instead of judgment.
And one way to make that shift is to literally change your self-talk. If you catch yourself thinking, I'm bad at this, try saying, I'm still learning. If you hear, I'll probably fail, change it to, I'm giving this my best, and that's enough for now.
These little changes build confidence. They don't seem big in the moment, but over time, they shape how you face challenges. You become more patient with yourself, You recover from mistakes faster, and you keep moving.
Try writing down a few supportive phrases you want to start using. Keep them where you can see them on your phone, on your wall, wherever. Train your mind to hear something better. Let's talk about something you can actually feel your energy. Because positive thinking isn't just about your mindset. It also shows up in how you move through the world, how you carry yourself, and how people respond to you.
Yeah, when you think positively, your energy changes. You walk differently, you speak differently, and people notice. It's like your presence feels more open, more inviting. It's not fake confidence. It's calm, steady belief in yourself.
And it's so interesting how that inner shift changes the outside world. Like if you start the day thinking, I've got too much to do, I can't handle this, your energy becomes heavy. Everything feels harder than it really is.
But if you wake up and say to yourself, one thing at a time, I'll handle this step by step, your energy is lighter. You start with more focus. You're more productive. That's not magic. It's just mindset turning into momentum.
We all know someone who lights up a room when they walk in. And it's not because their life is perfect. It's usually because they've trained their mind to stay open, hopeful, and focused on what's possible instead of what's missing.
You can build that kind of energy too. Start by noticing how your body feels when your thoughts are negative. Then try switching just one thought to something more helpful and see what changes. Your posture, your tone, even your breathing.
Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings create your energy. And your energy creates your reality. That's why mindset work is so powerful. It's not just about thinking better. It's about living better.
One of the most powerful things about positive thinking is that it helps you bounce back. It gives you resilience. That means when something goes wrong, you don't fall apart. You don't quit. You recover and you try again.
Yeah, people think being positive means you never feel bad, but that's not true at all. Being positive doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means you trust yourself to get through it.
I remember when I lost a job a few years ago. It felt like the end of everything. But slowly I started shifting my mindset. Instead of thinking this is a disaster, I started asking myself, what could I learn from this? What's the next step I can take?
That mindset shift doesn't erase the hard part, but it gives you power again. It moves you from stuck to strong. It reminds you that you're not helpless. You still have choices, even in the middle of a challenge.
And the more you practice this kind of thinking, the faster you bounce back. You build what people call emotional muscle. The first time it's hard. The second time it's still hard, but you're stronger. And after a while, it becomes part of who you are.
You start to believe that every experience, even the painful ones, can shape you in a good way. That belief makes you brave. It gives you the courage to try again, to speak up, to move forward even when you're scared.
So if you're going through something tough right now, remind yourself this is not the end. This is part of your story, and you get to choose how you respond to it.
Resilience doesn't mean never falling. It means getting back up with purpose. And positive thinking gives you the strength to do that. Let's talk about something a little deeper now. The way you think doesn't just affect your own mood or motivation. It also affects how you connect with other people. Your relationships start to reflect your mindset.
Yeah, if you're always expecting people to hurt you or disappoint you, your brain looks for signs to prove that belief. But if you expect people to be kind or open or helpful, you show up differently, and that often changes how they respond.
It's true. Positivity builds connection. When your mindset is hopeful, you're more likely to listen with patience, speak with kindness, and assume good intentions. That makes people feel safe around you.
It also works the other way. If you're harsh with yourself, you'll probably be harsher with others. But if you're kind to yourself, that kindness naturally spills out. The way you treat yourself becomes the standard for how you treat the world.
And honestly, a lot of people are starving for just one thing: gentle, positive energy. So when you bring that into a friendship, a team, or even a short conversation with someone new, it matters. It lifts people.
Let's look at how your mindset affects your actions. Because at the end of the day, your thoughts decide what you do. Positive thinking helps you take better action. It gives you a reason to move instead of freeze.
Exactly. When your thoughts are filled with fear or self-doubt, it's easy to get stuck. You hesitate, overthink, or talk yourself out of doing something important. But when your thoughts are positive, you're more likely to take that first step.
I've seen this so many times. When I tell myself I probably can't do it, I don't even try. But when I say, let's give it a shot, or what's the worst that could happen, suddenly the action doesn't feel so heavy.
That little shift can change everything. Because once you start doing, you start learning. You grow through the action, not just through thinking about it. And the more you act, the more confident you become.
And it builds momentum. One small action leads to the next. And soon you're further than you ever thought you'd be. But it all starts with the thought that says, I can try.
Sometimes people wait for motivation to show up before taking action. But honestly, action creates motivation. And your thoughts create the action. So it always starts with mindset.
Try this. Think about one thing you've been avoiding. Something small. Change your thought around it from, I don't know how, to, I'll learn as I go. Then just do one tiny step today. That's how change starts.
Positive thinking isn't about being unrealistic. It's about being brave enough to believe that effort matters and that progress is possible. And when you think that way, action becomes easier. Let's talk about self-belief. Because this is really the heart of everything. Positive thinking, when practiced consistently, turns into something much deeper. It becomes belief in yourself.
Yeah, and that belief is powerful. It doesn't mean you think you'll never fail. It means you trust yourself to keep going even when you do. You know you can learn. You know you can grow.
And that kind of belief doesn't usually come from one big moment. It comes from 100 small ones. Every time you choose a better thought, take a healthy step, or speak to yourself kindly, you're building it.
I think people wait for confidence to magically show up. But confidence is really just proof built over time. You try, you mess up, you try again. And each time your brain collects evidence that you can do hard things.
Yes. And when you have that kind of self-belief, you stop looking for outside validation. You don't need everyone to approve. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. That's freedom.
It also helps you stay focused on your own path. When you believe in yourself, you stop comparing. You stop trying to copy someone else's journey. You respect your pace. You celebrate your progress.
Think of one thing you've overcome in the past, big or small. Let that memory remind you that you're stronger than you think, that you've already done hard things. That's the kind of belief you want to build on.
Positive thinking isn't just about daily motivation. It's about building the kind of mind that believes in you even on your worst days. And that belief becomes your safety net when everything else feels shaky. One of the most underrated benefits of positive thinking is that it opens your mind to new possibilities. It helps you notice things you couldn't see before.
Yeah, when you're stuck in a negative mindset, your vision gets smaller. You only see problems. You miss out on the chance to try something new. Or even recognize a good opportunity when it's right in front of you.
I've had days where I was so caught up in thinking nothing will work that I ignored a small chance to do something different. And looking back, that chance could have changed everything, but I didn't see it because my mind was too closed.
That's the thing. Positive thinking opens that mental door. It tells your brain to start looking again. It says maybe there's another way. Maybe you haven't tried everything yet. And that small shift in thought can change the whole direction of your day.
Even in conversations, the way you think changes what you hear. If you expect people to be difficult, you'll find something to argue about. But if you expect to learn something, you'll actually listen. You'll ask better questions.
Positivity gives you curiosity. It makes you ask what if instead of why bother. And curiosity always leads to growth. New ideas, new people, new progress.
Try this. The next time you feel like something is impossible or too late, pause and ask yourself, what's another way to look at this? What's one small option I haven't tried yet?
That one question can open a door. Positive thinking doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're willing to keep looking for them. And that's what creates change. Let's talk about consistency. Because honestly, no matter what your goal is, learning a language, improving your health, building a better life, the results always come from what you do over time. Not once, but repeatedly.
Yeah, and that's where positive thinking becomes a game changer. When your thoughts are filled with doubt or frustration, it's easy to stop. You think, what's the point? Or I'm not getting anywhere, and you give up.
But when your mindset is positive, even a small step feels worth it. You might think, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting better. And that thought alone is enough to keep you showing up.
I remember struggling with consistency in the past. I'd start something with energy, but as soon as it got hard, I'd lose motivation. But once I started changing the way I thought, telling myself, progress takes time and I'm building something here, I stopped quitting so easily.
Positive thinking helps you stay in the process. It keeps you connected to your why. You're not just focused on fast results. You start to enjoy the journey, and that's what makes you consistent.
And when you're consistent, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you can do what you say you'll do. And that self-trust becomes the foundation of every future goal.
Try this. Pick one small habit today and attach a positive thought to it. Something like, every time I do this, I'm growing stronger, or this step matters. Say it each time and notice how it keeps you moving.
Consistency isn't just about discipline. It's about mindset. When you feed your brain thoughts that support growth, you naturally keep going. And that's where real transformation happens.
Here's one last point I really want to leave with you. Positive thinking isn't just about improving your life. It's about giving yourself a better experience of your life. It's about choosing how you feel, how you show up, and how you live.
Yeah, life won't always be easy. There will be stress, setbacks, and moments that feel too heavy. But when you train your mind to stay hopeful, to keep searching for meaning, and to look for the good, you give yourself power even in the hard times.
And that power can change everything. Not instantly, but slowly. Thought by thought. Step by step. It can heal your confidence. Strengthen your relationships. Rebuild your motivation. It's a quiet kind of strength, but it lasts.
I always say that your thoughts are the one thing in this world you truly have control over. You may not control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond, and that changes your future.
So if you're listening to this and wondering where to start, begin with one thought, just one. Something like I can change, or I deserve better, or I'm not stuck. Let that be your anchor for today.
And from there, keep building. Each day, one new thought, one small action, one better choice. You're not just surviving, you're creating the life you want. And it all starts in your mind.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this conversation helps you feel stronger, more hopeful, and ready to move forward with clarity.
This is English Podcast Journey. If this episode inspired you in any way, consider giving it a like to support what we do. We work hard to bring you something real every day, and it means a lot.
Take care of yourself, keep showing up, and remember, your thoughts shape your world. Choose them wisely. See you in the next one.